As many businesses begin to reopen around the country, others face an uncertain future as the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic is still being felt, affecting workers in every industry. Joining me now on Skype to take a look at the ethical considerations for businesses in this new era is Dr. Max Torres, Associate Professor of Business Ethics and Organizational Behavior in the Bush School of Business at the Catholic University of America. Welcome and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me, Tracy. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. Now, we're seeing a number of iconic American retail stores file for bankruptcy protection as more and more companies are trying to figure out the way forward. For many, that signals more layoffs to come. What does this disruption mean for workers?
Well, obviously, it's never good to be laid off. The questions come into play, I think, the ethical questions at least, as to whether or not it's a legitimate response to an actual pandemic, which obviously this is uncharted territory. So the question, I think, is more like what's driving the layoffs. I think it's perfectly reasonable that a number of companies are going under now. They're not doing any business. If you don't do any business, you can't stay open. So, again, obviously this is not good for the people involved. So as long as it's not a type of opportunism, I guess that's what I'd really like to say the most of. I mean, we all know that it's advantageous to get higher productivity, higher efficiency, meaning to get more work from your existing workforce, et cetera, or to reduce your workforce and get more work out of the remaining people. And that's part and parcel of business. But at some point, there's always a danger that in the pursuit of better numbers and better just better operating figures, that some human values get lost in the transition, and there's always a danger of that, And I think the ethical question is to look within and to say, like, what's driving this sort of thing. If one of these companies has to go under, well, they have to go under. That's the nature of business. They don't have enough to stay open. I don't know if I've been too verbose on that or helpful.
No, absolutely. And, we're also hearing reports of large CEO salaries and bonuses. And what do you think that signals to workers who are being asked to sacrifice right now?
Well, obviously, it's a prudential judgment on the part of the CEO. We all prefer that everyone share the burdens together. I think there's a difference as to if the CEO is playing it like, hey, I'm in the same boat as you are, which has happened many times over the last 30, 40 years of this kind of dramatic tension in the American economy, really since the 1980s. And I think to the extent that a CEO is being honest and tells his people or her people where things are and that they're going to share it, well, then fine, then share it. The worst thing that could happen would be, I'm going to share your pain, and then in actuality, you're not sharing the pain. I'm not sure that it's, as a matter of justice, it's called for CEOs to not take pay. But I do think as a matter of prudence, it's something they certainly do want to consider because it does project an image to the whole world that they're not being affected by the things that are affecting other people. I don't think that's a place where most CEOs want to be. I know some, the one at oh my gosh, I can't pronounce his name, at Travis Kalanick's old company at Uber, has decided to forego his salary. And it sounds very reasonable to me. But again, I'm not sure that justice requires it. I am sure that prudence requires a consideration of it.
Yeah. Max, I want to ask you this quick question before we let you go. We all know that consumer confidence is really key for all businesses, but certainly it's essential for small businesses. What do you think those small businesses can do to make their customers feel safe and secure in coming back into their stores?
It's a really good question, and it depends on the type of store. Like I belong to a health club, like you belong to a health club, and the requirements for them are going to be pretty high, and the requirements for a small grocery store are going to be pretty high, where people touch things. And, I would say the most important thing I think any business can do right now, just stay in touch with customers to the extent possible. Thankfully, social media, email, whatever, Facebook, however you can reach people, Zoom, or like we're using Skype right now. I think these are important things. It's in our own business, I'm in the education business, if you will, and I hate to put it that way because I'm an educator. But I think it's very important for us to stay in touch with our students, to stay in touch with our parents, to just, we're thinking of them. We're trying to figure out ways. Like, we know this is going to affect them. We know it's going to impact them. We just want them to know we're thinking about them. And I think that would behoove every business at this juncture, stay in contact with the people that you're in this symbiosis of a business relationship with. And I think it's very important presently for them to do that.
Well, Max, thanks so much for coming on and sharing your insight with us. We really appreciate it. Dr. Max Torres, Associate Professor of Business Ethics and Organizational Behavior at the Catholic University of America. Thanks again, Max.
Thank you, Tracy. I hope I've been helpful.